Hey guys, we're here with a special guest today, Gaurav, who finished fifth place at the remote regionals with Raidraptors. So huge congrats to you. What are your thoughts on this deck for this current format?
I think the deck is really underrated. A lot of people have been prepping for Fire Kings and Voiceless, along with a myriad of other rogue decks. But I don't think a lot of people have been prepared for this deck or really understand how to effectively hand trap the deck. A lot of my matchups, people had 2 to 3 hand traps and were ineffective in breaking a lot of the boards I made. Um, in my matchups, I did lose a lot of my dice rolls. The only 2 dice rolls I won today were a Fire King matchup and against the mirror match, which was my only loss today, was my partner who I lost to in round one. So the deck is really resilient to hand traps. I think a lot of people prefer to play the Kali-Yuga build, which essentially is like a pseudo FTK. But me and Kyler took the approach to try and play the deck through as many hand traps as we could in order to set up a board that would be better than past turn two. And so I think we really accomplished that goal with this deck. And the main deck, in my opinion, is as solid as can be. It was really perfect. Going into games 2 and 3, I changed only 2 cards in my main deck every matchup because when I'm going second, I felt the main deck was perfect. And I feel like it was really exemplified because I lost a lot of my dice rolls today. And so, yeah, it went really well for me.
Awesome. Well, I guess before we get to the profile, any channel that you wanted to quickly promote?
Yeah, shout out to Team PCD. That's our channel. We're located in Arkansas. We're all doing really well. And we're hopefully going to get a top 8 finish at a YCS soon.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's get right into the list then.
Yeah, so for the normal summons of the deck, you have 3 Tribute Lanius and 3 of the Raiders Wing. These ones are the primary normal summons you want to see in your opening hand. Tribute dumps any Raidraptor card, and then Raider's Wing extends further by allowing itself to special summon by detaching. Something interesting is that the Raider's Wing, you can detach it off of the unaffected monsters because it affects the material, not the monster itself. And so this is a free extender. But the reason why me and Kyler played this is because it has the effect that makes it to where your opponent cannot target Raidraptor or Dark XE monsters that are equipped under it. And so it makes your turn 1 plays like incredibly effective in stopping Imperm. Because this deck really only loses to Imperm. That's the only card. You play through Ash, Droll, Imperm, or Ash, Droll, Nib. It's just really Imperm that hurts. And so these were the 6 normal summons, and then we also played 2 Noir Lanies and the 1 Mimicry. Noir is really good in searching. It's a free body. And then Mimicry is really good because it searches any Raidraptor from your deck. So I usually search the spell with this to get recursion. But these were the main 9 normal summons of the deck. The only difference between me and Kyler is he played 2 Mimicry, and I felt it was comparable to cut 1 just for the consistency boost. And so these were the 9 normal summons. And then for the other Raidraptor cards, we played 3 Fuzzy Lanius, 3 Simorg, 3 Raidraptor Vulture Bloom, 3 Strangle, and then the 1 Helegal and Pain Lanius. So these are all of the extenders we played that special summon themselves, or this one gives you an extra normal summon. Bloom is a really good card to start with because it special summons itself and another Raidraptor card. So if you draw Bloom with another normal summon, it just allows you to extend through Nibiru. It allows you to play through Droll, pretty much everything. Bloom is like one of the best cards that came out in the new set. And then I think the most controversial card here is like Fuzzy Lanius. A lot of people do not like playing Fuzzy because it locks you only into Raidraptors, but Fuzzy is the best way to chain block with your links, and it also is the best way to have follow-up because a lot of the matchups, sometimes you're not able to win turn 1, but you have just enough follow-up to be able to win on turn 4. And so Fuzzy really comes in clutch in a lot of the matchups, and it's really good for chain blocking a lot of your effects. And then all of the rest are really good extenders. Both of them, like Strangle has an effect to special from hand, and it has a bonus effect if you have a Dark Xyz monster with a Dark material, Xe material attached to it, and we use that in the combo that we do. And so like these were all of the Raidraptor monsters and extenders I played that was Engine. And then the final cards I played for Engine was the 1 Foolish, the 1 Roost, the 1 Rank Up Magic, or the 2 Rank Up Magics, and then the 1 Trap. So these were all very standard in my previous build. You don't need to play more rank ups. that's just more bricks you're adding to your deck. You want it to be as consistent as possible. Roost is the best way to recycle cards because you need to be able to recycle cards and search the trap. And Kyler put me on one Foolish Burial. I was not convinced it was a good card until I found out that you can just send Mimicry and that's full combo. So I opted to play it. But yeah, these were all really good. No complaints. And then the hand traps, we played 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Droll, 3 Nibiru, 3 Imperm. So we played 15 hand traps in total. Initially, these Veilers were Cosmics, but we switched them to Veilers and main deck Nib. Nib does conflict with Bloom, but you can just crash into their token in the Fire King matchup and then just freely play. I think we owe a lot of our success to the amount of hand traps that we played because drawing hand traps was just insane, whether it was like Imperm and Nibiru, Imperm and Droll, Imperm and Veiler. So I really thank Kyler for putting me on 3 Veiler because that made the huge difference today in whether or not I was topping. And so that was the main deck. The main deck was 43 cards. Again, the main deck was completely solid. I would not change anything in the main deck. For the extra deck, it was 2 Y-Strix. We were playing 3, but I cut it to play a different tech option. And then 3 Force-Strix. You need 3 for the combo. You're usually going to recycle 1, but I just always found I needed 3. 2 Raiders Knight. You use 1 for 1, and then use the other one for the OTK. 2 of the Rising Rebellion Falcon. You always make both of these during the combo. But they're both really good to have. And then the card that I played that was my tech option was Evil Swarm Nightmare. A lot of the times, this was for specifically cash matchup because Shifter really hurts this deck. And so if you can just make 2 level 4s, which is really easy in the deck that are dark, you just make the Nightmare and sit on it. And then I was telling Kyler, you're not trying to beat the cash player or the cash board. You're just trying to beat the Shifter because your deck can beat cash easily if you after turn 3. You just need to last that long. So this allows you to get there along with like having a bunch of hand traps in your hand. And then for the final ones, it's all part of the combo. So Brave Strix, the Arc Rebellion. I made this a lot to OTK. And something really cool that me and Kyler found out was that if you have the Raider's Wing attached to it, it makes it to where they can't target it. And it's unaffected by card effects, or not unaffected. It can't be destroyed by card effects, and it can't be targeted. So this becomes your big win con, along with like having the 4,000 and 3,500 unaffected towers to just crash into something, and then that's the whole game. I did that to a lot of people today, and it worked out really well. And then the final 3 was Arsenal Falcon. I had a lot of people read this card, and this is the choke point where people are trying to nib me. And then you just special summon the You special summon the Force-Strix with this as material, and then you just keep playing. This is the custom card that for Raidraptor. This card really extends a lot of your plays and allows you to keep playing. And then the last 2 cards, you use this during the combo and special summon it off of the Rising Falcon. And then if this is attached, you can detach it to make it to where they can't activate card effects. And I made Satellite Cannon Falcon once today. It was good when it happened, but other than that, like, I have no complaints about this. And then the side deck. So I played 3 Spooky Dogwood. I'm going to be honest, I never made this, or I never used this. This was supposed to be a different card, but we could not find our Ciphering Gears anywhere. So I just put in Spooky Dogwood as a alternative. It didn't really come up, but I would play the Ciphering package over this. And then the 1 Duster, 1 Call by the Grave. I played 2 Talents, 2 Cosmic, and then 3 Crossouts and 3 Evenlies. So like I said before, I really felt like our main deck was so solid. I did not need to side in a lot of cards. Going first, I always sided out 6 cards, or I sided out 5 hand traps plus an extra nib to be able to put in these 6 cards. This was primarily my siding pattern. And then going second against like Fire King, which I faced all day, I just put in 2 Cosmics and took out the Trap and Roost. And that's all I did. I did not use any other card in my side deck just because I felt like my main deck was so strong. I didn't need extra cards. So moving forward, I'm going to try and change the side deck to adapt to the meta. But like Cosmic Cyclone plus like 2 hand traps is good enough to win because all you really need is like 1 normal summon, an extender, or 2 extenders to keep playing. And so like the deck was really resilient. I genuinely think that we had the best main deck for this event, and we built it to beat Fire Kings. And out of the 6, 7 rounds that we played, 5 of them were Fire Kings, and so it worked out really well that we went against the deck that we were most prepared for.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for the deck profile and your in-depth analysis. I guess any last shout-outs before we end the call?
Yeah, shout out to my fiance Emily, love her, and she supported me through this. And shout out to my brother Daniel, who's going to be watching the deck profile after, and Team PCD, and everybody who let me borrow cards: Dante, Dylan, Javi. Yeah, just shout out to the team.
Awesome. Well, congrats again, and thank you.